Welcome to Critically Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you for downloading and checking us out this week. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm just trying
How
to
are you?
remember what we were doing last time.
On Critical Hit.
Oh yeah, we went to a place and we met some people, and we're trying to do a thing.
There was this guy. He had a face on his head and an elbow halfway up his arm. You remember?
That part
Yes.
I don't, but Rodrigo, maybe you can fill us in.
No, I think you guys are doing a good job. Why don't you get us up to speed?
There is a
Where are you guys?
person.
Why? And who are you talking to?
We are at the Sage's Rectory.
Yeah, and we've got a meeting in the morning with Theen.
Mhm.
And we know that she has previously dismissed the contingency from Asmodeus.
Do you?
And that Lucia is here being shady.
And we've also got a little tiefling, or not a little, but a tiefling companion, Muyu. And we also found that some drow do not like Lolth.
Hmm.
That's right.
That's all my notes say, I'm sorry. There's something also about a knoll. But I don't know what that... I can't read
that's
my
one
own
of-
typing.
Lucia's new buddy, who's also a worshiper of Grumsh.
That's right.
Fangs.
Mm-hmm.
Fangs for foes.
Yeah.
Or splintering child.
Fangs for foes or splintering child. Yep.
Because primordial.
Look at you guys. You guys remember like most of it.
We're starting to take more notes this year.
That's good. I mean, it's kind of necessary. I feel that the density of information has really spiked in this season,
Mhm.
or the density of necessary information for the players.
Yeah, but I bet we're
So-
still missing like 50% of it.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
Still
hopefully
panning us.
between all of you, you guys have all the information you need.
Yeah, and between like the nice notes section that Rodrigo's made for us.
Yeah, I do try to update that. So if you look at your the journal side of Roll20, there's lots of information there from people you've met, but it's not exhaustive. There's obviously lots of people you've met that aren't there, and there's not a lot of like direct plot information about what's been happening. So you definitely have to keep track of that. You guys spend the night in a nice little townhouse, and next morning, Muyu wakes you up pretty early to go see Theen.
Okay.
Make sure we're all dressed nice and
Yeah.
Yeah, wear our new robes.
we all look scholarly.
Bust out my formal cape.
Ooh,
Looking good.
does your tail also have a formal cape?
I will end.
Hangs off the horns.
Brian, do not encourage him.
Goes with the mullet.
At
All right.
2 feathers. At 2.
All right. Other than dressing nicely, does anybody make any other preparations or anything else?
I will spritz myself with my perfume of authority. What is it called again? The thing that gives me bonuses to social challenges.
Oil
Fragrance of
Olay.
authority.
That's the one.
Yeah, there you go.
It smells like French fries.
You exude the aura of a McDonald's middle manager.
I think that is like the opposite of that.
Yeah. It's a
I don't
cursed
know.
bottle of fragrance of authority.
Make sure my
Yeah. Just
rod
like
of beguiling
you
is at
smell like
hand.
someone that people look down upon and make mop toilets.
All right. So
I'm still staying with Summer.
Summer. Okay.
Yeah.
500 days of it.
Did I get a bonus to the twig?
Sure. Just in
Yeah.
case you can get the floating +2.
It's still good to be prepared just in case.
Yes.
Plus, the good thing about being a staff wielder is that you can always pull a Gandalf and be like, "Oh, you wouldn't take away my wand."
It's like, we live in a world where wizards exist. What's wrong with you?
Yes, because
Yeah,
Cat just
that's
looks so
true.
decrepit.
That's the first thing you should go for. Is like if you see an old man, just yank their walking stick away just in case.
Yeah,
they're
just
wizard.
be like, I'm the lies to you, wizard.
And run.
All right. So, you guys all meet up at right outside the townhouse, and Muyu gets walking.
All right.
And you guys travel down some streets with very minimal movement because it's still pretty early. And go up some broad bluish stone stairways to a hill, and then atop this hill is like a park with a large fountain, and then right at the center of it, and then in sort of like if you think of the park as an oval, one third of it is just like grass and common areas. One third of it is sort of the plaza for the fountain, and then the other third is a large blue stone building with sturdy columns and big airy windows, and a few balconies as well. It is labeled as you approach in very large letters across the front. It says Miraculous Font Library.
And what is the font style? Comic Sans?
Papyrus.
Papyrus, yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
It's,
Thank you
it's,
for that.
it's fantasy, and we can't afford fancy fonts, so yes, it's in
Dun, dun.
papyrus.
It's terrible.
Is there anybody standing around outside to greet us, or?
No, not as you approach, but this seems to be open, like open to the public. Nobody's like guarding it or anything.
Okay.
But as you guys proceed inside into sort of a big like mezzanine area, there is a lantern archon there waiting for you.
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, greetings. You are Theen's morning meeting, correct?
Correct.
Well, make sure that you wipe your feet before going in. Please address Theen respectfully, and do not take anything out of this library without her permission.
Of course. Thank you.
And it floats over to a big set of double doors, and the double doors open.
And we'll enter.
Yes.
Wipe our feet.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys enter a reading room. Basically, I mean, this is like, this room in and of itself is actually probably about twice as big as the library that you guys have at Rutile Island, which makes it both clearly a very large room, but also potentially not the sort of splendiferously huge room you would expect a god to hang out in. It's mostly just rows and rows of very, very tall wooden bookshelves, all full of books. There's a central area with tables, and also there are stone bookshelves built into the walls. And as the door opens, there's no one immediately there, but you guys do hear some like shuffling and page turning from inside.
Okay. We'll step forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You guys, do you guys like follow the noise
Yes.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
call or?
I'll do a loud clearing my throat because I'm sure as a library we're only supposed to whisper. So.
Oh boy.
There's no immediate response to that.
We'll just
Because
head
it's a
towards the
delayed
noise.
blast fireball.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys follow the noise, and sure enough, after a little bit of searching, you run into someone. This is a humanoid. She is probably no more than 5'10", blue skin, silvery white hair, wearing a white dress, and her hair is done in kind of an elaborate updo with a ponytail coming out of it.
Okay.
She is floating about maybe 8 feet in the air, flipping through a book where there's clearly a slot for right in front of her. It's just kind of floating there reading.
Hello?
The book closes and she turns to look at you guys. She has 3 eyes, 2 where normal eyes would be, and then 1 at the center of her forehead. They are all sort of a gold color. She looks a little sparkle and says, "Oh yes, my meeting."
Yes,
And,
sorry to disrupt your reading.
No. We're scheduled. It's fine. And she kind of floats in your general direction, but very quickly past you to another place in the shelves. She had put the book that she was reading back where it belonged, and seems to be looking for something else. And she points in your general direction as she's kind of searching for something else, and says, "Are you the one that I talked to?"
She actually gestures. She gestures at Randus. I believe that was Randus to Theen.
Yeah, we had spoken briefly.
As well, I was surprised to hear someone calling on that frequency, but I do apologize. I may have been somewhat rude because of my surprise. I do not make it a habit to be rude to people. It was just not what I was expecting.
No, definitely understandable. I do apologize for that intrusion. It just was a happenstance, but glad that we got to talk.
Yes. So, what can I help you with? Why are you all trying to get an audience with me?
We are emissaries of Arathis and wanted to see if we could persuade you to join her version of the new Treaty of Gods.
Yes, there's a lot of talk about this.
Yeah?
I assume you know the consequences of the previous treaty being undone?
Yes, I'm aware of the eventual breakdown of time.
Yes, and we are hoping to get enough signatories before things start unraveling too significantly.
I see.
Also before the opposition manages to get enough of their own.
The opposition being...
the agents of Asmodeus.
Oh, yes. She strokes her chin. Have spoken to them.
And what did they have to say?
Oh. This is all very preliminary, certainly, but really more or less what you're saying.
I see. And I guess, is there anything that you would like to see in such a treaty?
Oh, certainly there is. The open dissemination of knowledge is something that I'm obviously very interested in, so that would really knowledge under the right circumstances moves on its own, so I don't really need I don't really need paladins breaking down people's doors and forcing them to read. All I really need is for the opposite to not happen.
Yeah.
We know how the opposite does happen.
Oh yes, how's that?
Tyranny.
That is an issue, certainly. I do not care for the machinations of others. I certainly do not care for I do not care for times when information only flows to the powerful. I think that the more people or the more knowledge people are privy to, the more power everyone has, and the better everyone lives.
Yes.
I certainly agree with that. But that does seem somewhat antithetical to some of the actions of Asmodeus, who is a god of complex plots.
Oh, yes. I certainly heard them out, but I had I don't have any real... there's no real reason for me to throw my lot in with Asmodeus. He is treacherous, and I personally have never felt that I had an ally in him, even back when the gods were on better terms.
And what about Arathis? Most libraries exist in cities. It seems like she would be a natural ally for you.
Yes. Arathis and I actually have, at times, had somewhat strained relationships because she believes in all the important, or she prioritizes all aspects of cities and city life equally, which means that, for example, poverty is important to her, and to a certain degree, homelessness, and that is not conducive to education. That is not something that that is not something that one should foster, I feel.
That is certainly fair. If you don't have an ally in Asmodeus, but have had some conflict with Arathis, what would you like to see done? The free flow of knowledge presumably would be harmed by a breakdown in time, as all trade and transit would.
Oh, of course. Nobody wants that. Well, maybe someone does want that, but I certainly don't. That sort of disorder is not conducive to the spread of knowledge either. And any advancements that you might get, say, by having some sort of sage live or complete their work faster because they're on a faster time, you would almost certainly lose because the people you're disseminating it to have died or something. I don't know. So a time being fluid is going to be certainly a problem for me.
So if you, I suppose, agree that the time should be secured, could we persuade you to sign on with Arathis with perhaps some stipulations from her to increase the flow of knowledge or reduce poverty in some ways?
Well, do you think that she would hear me out on those sorts of things?
I think she would certainly hear you out. I can't say one way or the other what sort of deal would be brokered, as we are emissaries but not direct spokespersons in this regard. But I've spoken to actually very recently, one of her Lantern Archons a bit about her thoughts on balance and her dealings with the goddess of nature. And I think that she is a goddess that can balance differences of opinion quite well.
Yes, I suppose she is. Well, I have no reason not to consider this. Let's say that I would be willing to sign on, but reserve the right to pull out if my stipulations are not heard.
Of course. Is there? Would you like me to try to arrange further meetings between you and emissary of Arathis that can more directly share your stipulations?
I suppose you could, but my guess is that once all of this is complete, there's going to be some complex bureaucratic wrangling that has to be done. So anything that we agree on ahead of time is almost certainly going to be on the chopping block as much as anything else. So I appreciate that, but I don't think it's going to do much good. You all are mostly hunting for support rather than anything entirely concrete, right? You don't want troops or money or anything like that.
No.
Correct.
No.
Yes, we're looking for people who will commit to being signatories.
Right.
Though any, I suppose, information that you could offer in opposition to Asmodeus or his forces would be of great use to us.
Or additional information on some of the other awoken gods.
Well, this library contains a great deal of information. So certainly after our meeting, you have my permission to research any materials here.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right.
So yes, let's agree to let's say that I will support your notion, at least insofar as my stipulations are considered.
Excellent. And then the stipulation negotiation will happen after the initial signing?
Well, I'm sure it'll happen before the initial signing, but there will be time for that.
Of course. Thank you very much. We appreciate your hospitality and your taking the time to hear our case.
Yes, of course. Again, feel free to look around and read whatever you need. Please do not take any materials out of the library. If you need to take any information with you, please ask an assistant to give you access to the Quills of Perfect Duplication.
Oh, wonderful. It sounds like a very useful item.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I will have an Archon by to give you some sort of token, and then we will consider this matter complete up until negotiations begin.
Wonderful. Thank you again. She'll give a low, respectful bow.
Yeah. She looks over at you guys, which she kind of hasn't done this whole time. She's kind of been looking through books, but she'll kind of give you all a polite nod.
We'll bow back.
Yes.
And then she kind of goes back to what she's doing.
Excellent. Wow, that was much easier than Good job, Brandis.
Okay.
For contacting her and setting the tone for this meeting. And Little Sparkle, excellent job.
Oh, thank you.
She said we could just look around the library for anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, perhaps we should seek out a librarian or some form of organizational system to figure out what would be most useful.
Yeah. What is any specific information?
I would say we should try to get some information on possibly, well, certainly any of the gods, maybe Rafaga or Maglubiet, since those were on our kind of short list of places to possibly go next.
Okay.
Rafaga, Mogubliet, Mesco is another one I would like to look into.
Should we see if we can get any information to maybe track down Uranko?
That was my plan as well.
Certainly. And I'm also going to try to look into information regarding the Gith fleet.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Just any information on the Gith would probably be helpful.
Do we need to do any research on Asmodeus?
I mean, certainly. It's possible that there's lost lore here.
Well, there are 5 of us. If we each take a different tack.
We could perhaps dig up some old, lost, forgotten grudge.
That would be a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can all just try to focus on our respective expertise areas. Like, Ket and I can try to look for more like diplomatic texts, or while Brandis or Orem look into the, or maybe Brandis looks into like the religious documents, and Orem takes a look at historical texts.
Okay.
That sounds good. And let's go find a librarian or an organizer or whoever.
Okay. You guys run into a Lantern Archon pretty fast.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
We are seeking information, each of us looking for different subject matter that you might be able to help us.
Okay.
Myself in particular, I'm looking for some texts on magic and also anything related to Asmodeus, grudges, historical lore that may not be well known, those kinds of things.
Well, most of the information in this library is not secret insofar as it might be difficult to find, but there's no bans on anything here, so if you're searching for something that has been actively banned, you're not going to find it here.
Okay.
That said, there's lots of places where you can look. We have histories of the War of Entities. We have trade disputes and chronicles of those between different gods and their, really between their churches more than anything.
I think the War of Entities might sound interesting.
Okay, well, if you exit this room, go down the hallway to your right, and then make a left there should be an archive there where you can find that information. And there will probably be somebody there who can help you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I'll wander off. Exit Orem.
Randus.
Yes?
You should actually research some rituals while you're here.
Okay. Any specific uses or
anything that you can find that might not have popped out at you before, seeing as we're in the Sage's Rectory.
Okay.
Can you direct him to where those would be found?
Magical rituals, certainly. If you exit out of this room, make a left, then second door on the right is a staircase. Go up that staircase, and that should lead you right into a room where we keep a lot of our treatises on magic. And adjacent to that is a room on alchemical processes. So there are probably also some discussion of ritual materials there, which, again, there should be somebody close by who can help you once you get there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll head that way, I suppose.
Off goes Randus.
Yes.
So Orm is looking at the War of Entities specifically.
So you mentioned something about books on trade deals. I would be very interested in seeing those.
Yes, actually, this room contains most of our trade dispute ledgers, as well as some recovered materials and legislative opinions. So Once we get everyone sorted out, I can help you find those.
Thank you very much.
Religious teachings.
What sort of religious teachings?
Those of specific gods. Are religious teachings ever going to be in one place, or is it going to be a search for more based on information for the specific god?
Well, certainly knowing the specific god would be helpful. Some gods, like, for example, Grumish, don't have very formalized systems. Or some other gods, like, for example, the Bronze Prince, it's very difficult to separate their religious teachings from their code of ethics and law. So, for some, like, say, Bahamut, it's very easy. Their codes and everything are set up, and they're separate from their war tactics and correct actions of a soldier and so on. But for certain gods, there is no real difference between their primary domain, sometimes their secondary domain, and their actual teachings.
Okay, how about then Malgubliet?
Yes. We do have some texts on Malgubliet. Some of those will be found in the War of Entities. But also we have some amount of texts from that were recovered from the natural world, because once Malgubliet was a very involved deity with his children. Do you speak Goblin?
No.
Well, no matter. We can find someone to cast a ritual for you if you do not speak Goblin.
Okay. Anything about Yoranko?
Yes, we do have some information, probably, but most of that is going to be kind of a tall tale type situation. Yoranko is one of those gods that does not actively foster or prune their worship. It just sort of happens because of the sort of followers that are prone to be attracted by that.
That sounds like it might be up my alley, Hazard. If you could point me in that direction.
Yeah, certainly. We have an entire section for fables and tall tales. So if you go down this hallway and then you go all the way down and then you make a left, you will find almost an entire room on the adventures of Coralon. But once you're past it, you'll find information on other sort of gods of the kind. Yoranko, Great Tiger, and so on, Cord.
Excellent. Sakar strides away, hopefully remembering those distractions.
Off goes Sakar.
I think I'll look into Malgubliet for right now. And I assume whoever is there would be able to help me with any further directions?
Yes.
Okay, so where do I need to go?
Just go. Did you want the War of Entities information? Because that would be the same place where your
I was going to stop there to talk to him for a moment, but I would rather have the other information, the more material.
Yes, of course. For that, just follow this hallway and go up the first staircase that you see on the right, and that's going to be all of our texts in Giant and Goblin. So you should be able to find things there, and there will be somebody there to help you.
All right. Thank you very much. Cat heads to stop by Orem first.
Okay. And then the Archon turns to Little Sparkle and says, did you need some help?
Yes,
Or-
please. Oh, if you could direct me to, I guess specifically trade deals involving. That's a good question. If you have any trade deals involving Asmodeus, I'd be appreciative of that.
Yes, the Gulag Magnificent has many trading partners.
Wonderful.
So it floats in a direction.
I will follow it.
So yeah, we'll say Orem gets to the room where he's going, and there's a bunch of books.
So many books. Volume 1.
Yep, and there's a Lantern Archon there.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm looking for, maybe do you have a concise history or a shortened version of the War on the Entities, like a primer on
Yes,
this?
we do have an abridged history of the War of Entities. It is the volumes on this shelf.
Okay, great. Do I need to start at the beginning, or can I just pick up in the midpoint and hope to figure everything out?
Well, I suppose that depends on how astute of a reader you are.
Okay. I'll start with
Personally,
volume
I
one.
always like to start at the beginning, then check, get a little bit underway, then maybe go back and check some of the appendices to see if there's anything that I'm going to have to look towards. And if it's not fiction, then sometimes I look at like the later chapters
Sure.
to kind of see what they're talking about and see if there's anything that I need to especially look out for. Unfortunately, not all writers do a good job of introducing relevant concepts early, and sometimes relevant concepts can be introduced too early. You don't use them, you forget about them. So certainly,
Orm's had
it's like-
volume 1 and volume 2 in his hands, and he's just politely nodding.
yeah, because he keeps going
Hmm.
until Ket shows up.
Oh, hello, Ket.
Hey, so something specific that I would like to have you look for
Okay.
while you're going through the treaties,
All right.
or the War of Entities.
Sure.
Any notable battles, specifically between any of Asmodeus's signatures, and some of the remaining gods that we haven't contacted yet. There might be something in there if Asmodeus or one of his ilk caused one of these gods to go down. That might be a good place for us to start.
All right. I open up volume 1 and I look for the section called Notable Battles.
Okay. As this is a war, that is the majority of this text, unfortunately.
Awesome. Subheading Asmodeus.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ket. And I go wander to find one of those big tables with the big lamps on them
Mm-hmm.
and the little wooden thing that holds the book upright.
Right.
And I'll get to work.
Okay.
I pull out my magic pad of note-taking.
All right. So, is Ket gonna go on to the other room?
Yeah.
Okay. When he gets there, there is a Lantern Archon outside of the room, and there is a little floating like broom and dustpan that is like dusting or like sweeping some dust into the dustpan.
That's adorable.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Is this the room where I would find religious texts on Malgubliet, specifically in his influence on the material plane?
Oh, yes. I can show you where those are. And just leans the broom against the wall. Follow me.
Follow.
And you go into a room, has lots of books. And as you walk through it, it actually has an almost comical variance in book size. Like, there are books that are like They look like they're the size for like a small child, although they're still, pretty thick. So they look kind of like, probably like a mini Bible, if you've ever seen those, where they're like really thick but really small. And then there's also books that are literally too big for like a single person to operate on their own. But the Archon does not take you to one of those. Eventually you get to a shelf and the Archon is like, here, some of these should be helpful, and books start like floating out of the shelf and kind of towards you.
I'll scan the titles for something that I can actually read.
Nope.
Cool. All right. So I need a translator.
Oh.
Don't understand Goblin, so unless there's anything in Primordial or Supernal.
Most of these have not been translated into Supernal, but I can enchant you so that you can understand Goblin. Would that be easier?
That would be the easiest.
All right. Please open one of those books and make an honest attempt at reading it.
I'll grab the nearest one.
Okay. Yep, this is all nonsense. And then the Archon floats around and kind of floats like up and down and in a circle around you, and makes little twinkling noises. And then after about a minute, you start to feel like you can read the book. And then within a few seconds after that, it's just like it's in your native language.
Great.
All right. That will run out in 24 hours. So.
All right. Thank you very much. I will come find you if I need any more help.
Sounds great. Floats back out, grabs his like little dustpan, broom, and keeps sweeping.
So what book did I pick up?
You picked up a it's an account by some soldiers in a fort about goblin attacks and how basically it's like a 3-generation thing, and it's just like very dry like accounts of the attacks by goblins, but there's they seem to have changed through the years, and there does seem to be some like direct involvement from Malgubliet, but you'll have to spend some time looking through it.
Oh boy, this is going to be a lot of dull reading. I'll take the other books that he handed to me and find somewhere to read.
Okay, so what is Randa's looking for?
I don't know. I think if I didn't, might ask for directions to see about looking in, see if I can find anything about Yuranko, and see if there's been any like old rituals or particular notable events of meeting that may be able to be made use to try to run into him.
Okay. Rob, is there a particular ritual that you thought would be helpful?
Not off the top of my head. I know I kind of threw him under the bus on that. It was literally like the idea happened as I was saying it.
Didn't we discuss recently learning comprehend languages?
I have that one.
Oh, you already have that one.
And we've got some scrolls already made up for everybody.
Yeah, there's some like not so higher level rituals, so anything there I'd have to look over. But they also really taper off. There's a lot of rituals in the early levels, and then towards the end, there's like entire levels that have no rituals to them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a back and forth there. So this is basically what's going to happen
Ooh.
here is you guys are going to spend some time finding stuff, but you're not gonna unless you stay here for a week, a month, you're not really gonna get much of an opportunity to get in depth into these things.
Sure.
But pretty quickly somebody will point out the quills, which
Oh, sure. We can
which
start
are-
copying things.
Yep, which will just, if you lay a text down and you tell the quill to copy it, they will just start writing. And will actually, some of these, these books are kind of all over the place. Some of them are in full-on illuminated folios. Some of them are handwritten in terrible handwriting. So the quills don't make exact copies of them. They just kind of copy the information, which means in a lot of cases they're actually more succinct or more.
These quills are amazing.
Yeah, they make it so the writing takes up less space, and in some instances it doesn't, because somebody will have little tiny chicken scratch handwriting and they'll actually write it out in a way that's legible. They will also, the one thing that they will copy exactly are diagrams and illustrations. But they don't copy things in color. So if you do have a fully illuminated folio, they'll make a black and white illustration or copy of that illustration. And unless you direct them to, they're not going to copy the borders or the giant, letter H. That's something that takes up a quarter of the page that a chapter starts with.
I will start making marked use of that.
Okay. What does Sakar do? Go to the room?
Yes. I'm looking specifically for anything that talks about ways, even if they're just, folklore, kind of you wink and a nod and an elbow to the ribs, ways to access or find Waypoint itself to where you can beg the blessing of your uncle.
Well, finding Waypoint is not that difficult. The problem is that Uranko is usually not there.
Oh, well, how do we find him then?
That's the question.
Where's he at? What am I doing? I'm traveling around, looking around, doing the thing.
Yeah. Okay. You start looking through stuff.
Stories and legends and...
Yeah.
And Hansi likes to hit up. Any particular events he likes to attend?
Right. Yeah. Eventually, Randus rolls into the room as well.
Hey, Sakar.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well, I've found an awful lot of information that I'm not sure is going to be of any use to anyone.
Yeah, kind of seems to be how it's going.
But these quills are amazing.
Yeah, those are really neat. What you looking for?
Well, the trouble with Uranko is not finding him so much as him finding you.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking. You might be our hardest mystery to pin down.
Well, yes, but I mean, we are all of us travelers.
Yes.
So theoretically, if there's some sort of metaphysic puzzle for us to unwind...
Yeah, well, maybe if we just keep it traveling, he'll run into us.
I hope we have that kind of time.
True. Well, yeah, I'll see if I can find anything that may be a benefit in meeting up with him.
What do we know about Mesco?
Kat had some texts on Mesco, but he hasn't had a lot of time to get through them.
Could I also do some searching on any information they might have on the Void Gods?
Yes, that one is easy.
None?
They do not have
Okay.
much information on the Void Gods. In fact, you do find some text on the Void Gods, and it's information that you researched. Literally, it has some of your research and Randus's research into the Void Gods.
All
here.
right.
Primary
one
source.
book.
Orm quickly Fires off a message to his parents. I'm published.
They're still not proud of you.
No, never were.
Oh.
Is there any information anywhere on killing gods?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go look up some of that stuff too.
Okay.
Seems like a weird topic to look up in a god's library.
We're tasked with killing a god, so.
Knowledge is power.
That one is actually kind of easy too. In general, every god has one way to kill it permanently. That seems to be part of the rule.
Okay. Anything about transference of powers or anything on death?
That seems to be a little bit more nebulous, but it seems to be more up to whatever gods can scoop up that power afterwards.
Okay. I'm sure I'll copy some texts and have my Asmodeus research done and all this other stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys look for some stuff and copy some stuff down for a while.
Sure.
Is it useful?
Cute.
Is it all useful stuff?
Well, we'll find out more later, I suppose, when we actually have time to read it.
Yeah. I mean, you basically have a couple of ways that you can go about it. You can spend a lot of time parsing out what is and isn't useful, or you can basically skim and say, well, this seems useful, and copy down, entire passages to look at more closely later.
Yeah, I'll do the skimming approach.
Yeah,
I feel like the majority of you would try to skim just because, first off, you have a whole dedicated team to sift through stuff like this back at base. Like, you don't have to do this. And also some of them might be better than you at it.
What?
Hey. We're excellent at this.
I mean, only one of us is actually trained in history.
Arranging access?
Yeah, but
and is published. You forget and published.
Checks, so.
Yeah, I just assumed Randus was going to fail.
It's pretty hard to do with his knowledge checks.
He can manage.
Yeah, but it's Brian.
You roll a 1.
But yeah, Ket's going to end up copying like 100 books at least. Like the amount of information Ket's going to have these quills print down is going to be ridiculous, and he might need a new handy haversack.
Oh yeah, another thing about the quills is that they don't ever run out of ink, and the ink dries pretty much immediately. So you can handle a page after it's been written on pretty much immediately after it's done writing.
Perfect.
Why do you even need the original?
I don't.
That is a problem though. Is that they don't translate, so everything that Ket is copying down is in Goblin.
Oh no, we'll have to learn to
comprehend languages.
It's true. Yep.
Does he?
Yes.
Okay. And if he doesn't, well,
we've got
now would be the perfect time for him to get one, like Ket suggested. But I did find 2 rituals that might actually be worth looking into.
Oh.
Divine Sight and Soul Guard.
Yeah, I kind of looked at Divine Sight. Let me look at Soul Guard. I mean, I kind of feel like for the most part we're not having too hard of time identifying gods, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, we just walk in and say, hey.
I figured Divine Sight might actually be useful in locating Yoronko.
Maybe.
Amongst some other travelers.
Yeah. And, I actually looked at Soul Guard a little bit earlier, too, but I pretty much have powers that do that.
Yeah. It was one of those ones where it's like, well, this could be...
if we, spend like the 25,000 to load up the team for prevention of death.
Yeah. This might be one of those ones where it's... if we're going into something that is basically certain death, which is usually how we roll.
Oh, I can see that happening.
Yeah, it might be helpful.
Oh, wouldn't that be worth the 2,000 G's to
20,000.
or 20,000? Yes,
I mean, if it was 2,000, yes, 100% it would be worth it.
yes.
But 20,000 is
A little pricey.
up to the team.
Got the money.
And this is Spirit Sight, you said?
That's for Soul Guard, which basically what happens there is that for a day, recipient of the ritual spends 1 healing surge. The next time the recipient is reduced to negative hit points equal to his bloodied value and would ordinarily die, he instead regains hit points equal to his healing surge value. So, I guess that could be.
And so it costs 20,000 to learn the ritual, and how much does it cost to cast it again?
5,000 to cast it.
And that would that get the whole party or just one person?
One person.
Just one person.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth learning. I don't know when we'll have another opportunity to pick it up, and we can always, it's just one of those weird tricks that you can have in your back pocket that can actually be relevant at epic levels.
Yeah, and the divine sight that Rob mentioned, you grant yourself the ability to discern deities and servants of deities, such as exarchs or angels who walk among mortals, limiting those you see in a holy light or glow that is visible only to you. When you see such a creature, you also learn to what deity the creature serves. Objects, places, and creatures that are favored or cursed by gods are likewise delineated. And this ritual allows you to intuit the relative importance of objects, places, or creatures to its deity.
Oh man, that thing is great.
Really like that.
The
Might
fact
be
that
able
it tells you who it serves, like we could
find a mole.
cast that exactly. Like, I mean, I don't know. They might not count as like a cleric or a holy being. Like, Asmodeus presumably knows of that ritual's existence and might not, send something that would, or have some kind of ritual that counters it. So, but, it's worth a shot, and could possibly get like low-level demons or clerics or things like that are out in the world. I mean, we've got spies planted there. I certainly assume the God of Deception does.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit more steeper. 65,000 to learn, 13,000 to cast.
This one could help us figure out the leak.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were just saying.
So.
Well, assuming your leak is some sort of supernal creature.
Yes, which I think is a big assumption, but it's worth a shot. A lot of things are supernal up here.
Yeah.
I would assume it would be favored by the god. At least.
Not. I mean, like I said, if this ritual is known, they could.
Yeah.
It's. I assume that we can find it. Asmodeus knows about it. So. But I still think it's worth knowing and possibly using periodically.
All right. Should I get both of those?
What would that be? 85,000 gold?
Yeah.
Do we have that?
Yeah. With material components. And if that's okay with Rodrigo?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, yeah, do that.
What would that leave us with after the fact?
5 gold.
No, we still got quite a bit. Like 200,000 still.
Oh, okay. Yeah, seems reasonable at this point.
I'm also see if Friendly Archon can direct me to a book or two on Kenku, or like the history of Kenku, because I'm curious about the Astral Sea, even though it's not the mission at hand. I'm curious anyways.
Okay.
That's
yes,
nifty.
You are able to find some stuff there.
Neat.
All right. Any other questions or lines of inquiry while you're at the library?
I don't have anything else.
I will probably ask about each of the other gods that we plan on visiting, except for maybe Rafaga.
We're planning on visiting all of the, 8 possible remaining acolytes?
Just until we get our card filled up.
Then we get a free frozen yogurt.
Yep.
Yes.
Each of the 8 remaining, and possibly a couple of the ones that were already awake.
Okay.
Like Vecna. That's one of them.
Oh boy.
I know. We need to look for him.
While Little Sparkle is doing some research, a Lantern Archon flies towards her, carrying a really nice scroll case.
Hello.
Hello. This is Theen's token.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And hovers away.
Take it.
Ooh, it's nice.
Examine it.
Yeah, it's, leather. It's like bleached and dyed leather, so it's kind of bluish white. Has some snaps on the top, and basically it's like a big thermos for your paperwork.
Nice.
Top pops off and has an attachment so that you don't lose it. And then there's kind of like after that there's like an interior cylinder that you can open, and there's actually some scrolls are already in there.
Oh, what's already in there?
Some straight up nonsense.
Oh, all right. I'll go bring this to the nerds.
Ooh, nonsense.
You guys can all meet up after once everybody that has a constitution below 25 gets a migraine.
So they're all coming to find me, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
How
But
do you know my
because your
constitution
research
is
takes
below
you all over
25?
the library, you're not that hard to find.
Darn it. 21.
Actually, my con's only at 24, surprisingly.
Oh, so you have a headache too.
All right. So yes, Cat has the mildest migraine.
Oh.
Power through it. Randall's will fix that later.
Fortunate for me,
Just
I
some
have
light
years of
trepanation.
experience in ignoring my brain, so.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, snakes don't get migraines, so
We're good. That's true, actually.
Theen, an Archon brought me Theen's token, but it has some scrolls inside. I wasn't sure if you guys can make any sense of them.
Sakar will look.
He goes insane.
yes. Sakar sees a brand new color from beyond time.
Wow. Look, this is clearly a number that goes between 6 and 7.
So when Sakar takes it out, it does appear to be some straight up nonsense, except there's actually something that's weirdly recognizable about it, especially to Sakar, because he's spent some time recently around stuff like this. Some of this stuff looks like charts, like the kind of stuff that Pixo looks at.
This looks familiar.
Hmm?
This looks a little bit like Pixo's atlases and charts. I don't know if I could figure out what it's to, but it looks like it might be some sort of astrocartography.
Excellent. I'm just going to make absolutely sure, and I'm also going to do inspections of everyone here before we leave, that these scrolls are supposed to be here, that this is the token we're supposed to take, and that no one palmed anything onto one of us, because multiple times we were explicitly told not to take anything out of the library without permission, and if I was trying to sabotage our mission, I would do that.
As would I.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, so you first you're gonna you're gonna pat down the guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yes.
Apparently he's ticklish.
Yes. Orem is ticklish. Also, there's definitely times when he has his like wizardly robes, and there might be like a cinch to them. So if you like reach under there to like move the cinch, you kind of like end up picking Orem up. He this guy he weighs nothing. Like supernaturally, Orem weighs nothing.
That's weird.
You go to pat down Sakar. It's pretty much the opposite. It's kind of hard to. There are muscles there that you didn't expect people could have, possibly because they're not always people muscles.
Sure. It's like, oh, you also have like the snake abdomen. It's like
Snapped him.
I figured they were
Yeah,
vampire muscles.
his ribs go all the way down to his waist, and no.
Sometimes they swell up and flip out when I get angry.
Yep.
And ribs that go all
I
the
don't know,
way
does
down
Does
to
the car
the
have
floor.
anything else on him that Little Sparkle would accidentally find, like knives or?
I have some swords.
Some snakes.
I have some snakes in my boot.
Yes.
You might find a snake wolf if you're looking in the right place. I don't think there's anything
Gross.
particularly unusual.
Okay.
I'm not allergic to feathers or being scratched by little bird fingers, so I think I'm good.
Okay.
It's like being
when-
mugged by a budgie.
if I was mugging you, you'd know.
Actually, if you were
From
mugging
all
me,
the
I
blood.
wouldn't.
Well, yeah. Well, mugging, I tend to think is like the connotation is inherently violent. If
Yeah.
I was pickpocketing you, you would not know.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess I
If you
should
were mugging me,
also,
we'd all know.
while we're here, ask if Little Sparkle steals anything from any of these guys, because she super could.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Opportunity.
Okay.
that
When
kind of
Little
rogue.
Sparkle goes to pat Cat down,
Mhm.
I would suspect that she realizes that Cat actually travels particularly light, probably like a deck of cards and like a pouch with like some coins on them.
Hmm.
But I figured Cat actually doesn't have a lot of stuff in his pockets.
Not really.
Maybe a comb.
Loaf of bread and a glass of beer.
And then, everybody has to sit down for the next hour or so while Little Sparkle pats down Randus.
It's like this rocket is full of gears. Wow.
Even his pouches have pouches in them.
And assistant keeps moving things just to make it that much more.
No, stop it. Like, I'm trying to help. You are not helping.
It's like Rob Liefeld got really high, and all of a sudden you have to go through all of Randus's pockets.
It does have the beneficial effect that Little Sparkle does find some stuff that Randus forgot he had.
Oh.
Like, oh, that sandwich.
Yeah, it's like stuck something in a pocket, in the middle of a fight, and then totally forgot about it.
I'm wondering where I put that knowledge of Dwarven language.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
It's on this data strip.
Yes.
my puppy.
Yeah, some of Orm's urchins are caught in there. It's a mess. But yeah, after a while, Little Sparkle is able to ascertain that no outside force, and also none of these guys decided to steal anything, and nobody's trying to frame you for stealing by planting something on their person.
Cool.
Good thought.
Now that everyone is satisfied, maybe we should leave?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to check, make sure that the things that are in the scroll and the scroll are okay for us to leave with. Just better safe than sorry.
Yep. Totally understand.
Track down a lantern archon.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello. We were offered this token from Theen. There appear to be some scrolls in it. I just wanted to make sure that it was okay for us to leave the library with them and they weren't, say, left there by mistake.
Well, if it's from Theen and she gave them to you, then I assume that they're yours to keep.
Well, Archon gave them to us, not Theen directly.
Oh, do you know which one?
No, I'm afraid I'm not very good at telling you apart.
Oh, that's all right. It can be very difficult. If you want, I can accompany you out, and if none of our alarms sound, then you were probably meant to take it.
Thank you. That would be greatly appreciated.
All right. Are you heading out now?
And she looks at everyone. Everyone good?
I
Yeah.
believe so, yes.
Continues to
Yes.
stuff papers in the haversack.
Yes, then.
All right, follow me, and goes out the main door.
Cool.
And little Sparkle struck by lightning.
No.
That's what I was trying to stop.
That's all right. It can't hit her. It can't hit her reflex.
True.
And if it even and she won't take half damage from it either.
It's true. I
So-
got evasion.
It's
Yep.
ball lightning. It's from the beta anyway, so it's no longer actually playable.
So yes, you walk out and nothing happens.
Good.
It is now late afternoon. You guys have been here all day and are suddenly realize are starving.
Ah,
Oh.
Let's go get some bland food.
yeah.
Yeah.
And probably arrange to leave?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But food
Definitely
first,
Food. Okay.
Get these charts to Pixel as soon as possible.
after food.
Don't we have food on the boat? We could make it to
Oh,
the
we're
boat.
here. Come on. We
Okay.
have the boat food all the time.
Or we'd be on the boat and be home in like 5 minutes.
Oh, we're eating food here.
But it's
Okay.
so nothing.
Stow.
Yeah.
Make sure we're stowing the scroll, the token away somewhere safe.
I got it.
In a haversack that is not Ket's.
Hmm.
Because Ket's is full.
See, I don't even think that's a thing.
What?
Don't believe that a haversack can be full.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
can.
can.
No,
There's
that's
a- there's actually a
It
weight
does have
limit.
a maximum weight, I
Yeah.
think, that it can carry. So, and
it's
paper can get pretty heavy.
True.
It's made of trees.
Have you ever moved a box of comics? I know you have.
To whom are you addressing this ridiculous
So-
query?
I don't know. All of
Just
us
questioning
probably.
the haversack.
Yes, the car doesn't read comics. He's
He's one of them.
he's too busy slapping books out of nerds' hands.
Yes.
Saying, go for a hike, nerd.
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
Hey, Four Eyes.
Guy literally
And
has
this
4
guy
eyes and
literally
blinks
has
up.
four eyes.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a little beholder. It's like, oh, they haven't grown out yet.
It's not my fault. My eye stalks need monocles.
Oh man, the Ice Stock Monocles would be such a good band name.
All right, so you guys heading into town?
I suppose
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Food.
Well,
All right. Well, you guys are able to track down some food. You can even spend some time tracking down some like slightly more flavorful food
Ooh,
on
fancy
account of
stuff.
it being more like fish and mollusk based, and thus having a lot more, just a
Natural
lot more
flavors.
salt to it. Yeah.
sounds delicious.
So you guys
Sounds
are able to actually get some filling and somewhat less bland meals.
Yay.
We have all the noms.
With some spicy legume sauce.
Then once we are full, I think we will head back to the lodge. Where were we staying? Like apartment?
Yeah.
Condo?
The condo.
So during the meal, do people just like pour over our writings, or do we talk at all?
Mm,
You can bring stuff up.
Did you
We
find anything useful, Randus?
Couldn't find anything too specific, no. Picked up a few rituals. Do have divine sight that can let us know if we if we can reveal the identity of deities and their servants.
That seems useful.
very much so.
Could be. So, if there's any angels or demons and hiding around, who knows?
Can it be used covertly?
I believe no one would really know if I have it cast.
I think perhaps we might wish to use that upon returning to Rutile Island.
Yeah. How long does it last?
Depends.
Oh,
And
how
yeah,
successful you are.
yes.
But is it typically a matter of minutes, hours?
Hour to a day.
We could even cast it before we leave so that we could possibly cast anyone on the island that it would trigger for unawares.
Suppose so.
Was it an area effect? Implement? Do you have to put it on an implement, like a seeing sphere or anything like that?
I just have to cast it on myself.
Ah, okay. Well, doesn't sound like anything could go wrong.
Why?
Yeah, why would you say something like that? That's terrible.
I don't know.
I can tell you from experience that plugging yourself directly into magic is perfectly fine. I do it every morning.
Well, yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that some people do that other people shouldn't do. But I mean, I trust your judgment in terms of rituals.
Well, yeah, like I say, it might get us some information.
Worth a shot.
So we are back at the housing facility, or are we heading back to the boat?
Well, I think should head back to the housing facility first and say goodbye to our contact there. Let her know that we were successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us do that. Let's bring her
with
some
an
food.
asterisk.
Let's bring her some of this good food.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So we'll get a to-go plate.
Okay. You guys make it back, and you can see that Muyu's inside.
Hello.
Oh, how did it go?
It went very well, thank you. Theen was...
You all were gone for a very long time.
Well, we did some extra research. She gave us access to the library, so we spent some time looking around and reading and copying notes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and we thought we'd stop by and let you know we were heading out, and we brought you some food.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Well, are you all heading out right now?
I think so,
Unless
yes.
there's any other business you think we should attend to while we're here.
I don't think so. I just didn't know if you wanted to rest before your trip.
No, how late in the day is it now?
It's like 7 p.m.-ish.
I think we'll rest later. But thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you for the food, and good luck with the rest of your missions.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you for setting things up here.
No problem.
And we'll shake hands or do whatever people do. And then we will head back to the boat.
You head back to the boat.
We cast the ritual before we get to the boat?
Yeah, we can do it while we're still in the
It takes an hour.
place.
Oh, it takes an hour?
Yeah.
Now you say it after we've already said goodbye. This is going to be ridiculous. Pardon us. We'd like to use your facility once more.
Let's cast it on the boat.
Yeah.
What if...
Wherever.
We'll be on the boat for an hour. We probably won't.
No, we probably won't be. All right, if we want to cast it now, let's do it.
Figure we find somewhere
We
on
can
the
go.
way.
We can go back to the
don't know.
condominium and say, "Hey, we forgot something. Randus needs to do a thing."
Whatever. We can just say that, Randus wanted to... We can just say, Randus wants to perform a ritual before we go. You magic dude doesn't
Yeah.
need to know the details.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
to develop some film. I don't know. All right. So, want to do that then?
I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Let me subtract some more monies.
Rituals.
Do you need some help on this one?
Probably not.
Okay.
Is your bonus on religion also 35?
Oh, if it's religion based, no, it's 31.
Oh, only.
So
We should probably help him out, guys.
It's true.
Do we do a
Pass.
religion check on that?
it is religion.
All right. I've got an 18. Is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, don't Nat and
Me too.
Yay! 2 18s makes 9.
All right.
Um,
So go ahead and give me
13.
the help rolls.
Help roll 1, 28.
33.
Okay, so that's a solid +4.
Yeah, we
All
helped.
right.
I am helping.
It's shake and bake.
Wow, close.
Oh, oh, Brian.
Now, does this include the +4?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, Brian.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
good for
whatever.
8 hours.
Yeah, exactly. The +35 is really what matters there.
Well, if I would have reached 40, it would have been good for a day.
Yeah. If someone else would have helped.
Sure, I'll help. My religion is a 12.
Yeah, mine's a 14.
Don't roll a 1.
I mean, we're all in this for the same thing. I'm just hunting for a botch.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my thought was.
That's kind of why I was declining the assistance. 'Cause
Yeah, whatever.
28! Woohoo! I
All right,
help!
so
2 more.
8 hours.
39.
What does this ritual look like?
that's a good question. Being a religious ritual, I'm guessing like quite a bit of incense and
Yeah, with like the sacred geometry type stuff on the floor.
yeah, and
Have to draw an eye in the middle of your forehead.
yeah, that sounds good.
That's why he needs help.
I mean, you're taking on the aspect of Theen so that you can look at things with the, the spectral analysis vision or
Yes.
whatever.
Probably some general prayers to Theen for
Yep.
guidance and vision and clarity.
2 plies and a pirouette.
Yep.
All right. Well, so Randus completes the ritual, and at first it doesn't seem like it's working until he looks over at Ket, and
Oh
it
God.
looks like he just either you cast it incorrectly or this is just
A mess.
incomprehensible.
Okay.
What does Ket look like?
Ket looks like
Oh God.
so kind of really what it is that there's an aura around it, and this ritual just kind of at a baseline allows you to see sort of like a neutral aura on any living creature that is in front of you. So if you look at a little sparkle, there's just kind of like a basic, very, very light outline glow to her, for example. But Ket has at least 2 severe overlapping ones, and others that seem to be pointing like sort of like collapsing inward. So he kind of looks like a negative version of himself with all of these like crazy colors around him.
Maybe we should see what Guy looks like.
I was gonna say, hey guy.
He like pops out. Guy's is much more clear. He has bright, like a bright, obvious outline. And there's a very clear pentacle etched into his forehead.
Uh,
Oh man, we could use this on the people we resurrected and see if there's anything lingering with them.
yeah, go back to
Some of
Oh
them are,
yeah,
yeah, they all decided to stay, didn't they?
I forgot about that.
yeah.
They've all retired.
So I assume that seeing a pinnacle on Guy would just be to expected.
Yeah?
Okay.
I don't know. Does Randus say something?
I mean, there's
Maybe he just did.
What does a
Oh, was that in character?
sure.
Oh, that probably tracks. Guy?
Huh?
As far as a deity goes, who do you serve?
Yeah. Asmodeus is the master of devils, so we all owe him fealty.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, do me.
Does Orem look any different?
Orem serves no master.
That's right.
But when you look at Sakar, he's got kind of a similar thing to Ket going, except instead of being negative, he's just kind of like a solarized.
Huh.
A swirling lava lamp of man.
Yeah, Sakar is both a servant and a master to the spirits, and thus complicates things.
As always.
Okay.
So maybe this is working.
Seems to
Well,
be.
you literally cannot tell.
If I see anything definitive, I'll let you know.
I guess Guy was probably the testing point of that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty definitive answer. The others are, wow, you guys are weird.
Yeah, and
Yeah, epic level player characters are almost certainly going to have some sort of craziness. Really, it's kind of amazing that we have like a straight up rogue
Yes.
this far into things.
Yeah, it's just because I like specialization and because rogue is one of the best classes in the game.
Yeah, that's true. When we were putting Little Sparkle together, I suggested that she multi-class to get access at other Paragon paths, and then we realized that rogues just have the best Paragon paths, so there's no point.
That's just cruel.
All right, we'll make our
We're
goodbyes
right here,
again.
Rodrigo.
We will make our goodbyes again and head to the boat.
Bye.
We're
Thanks
good
for the
now.
food.
Yep.
Bye.
We lit some incense, so you know.
oh yeah, Muyu would actually be a good one to look at.
Yeah, Muyu also has no discernible aura.
Okay.
Discernible.
So we
I
get
thought
back to
that
the
was one of the big reasons for casting it before we left.
There you go. So we get back to the boat.
Who's on the boat?
Well, the captain
your
should be
regular
there.
crew's on the boat,
Mm.
along with Zarza.
Yeah. Randus, take a look at her.
Okay. I'll look at Sarsa.
Okay. You squint at Zarza, and you see an aura that glows with a fiery silver, basically white light, and also you see a sort of a spectral chain that goes from her forehead, which has a sigil of Bahamut, and then splits, like kind of travels upwards to her head, and then ties around her neck in what appears to be a pretty heavy chain setup, but it doesn't seem to be visually weighing her or weighing her down in any way. At least she's not holding herself any differently than she usually does.
Seems to check out. All right.
We
well,
knew
we were
she was-
successful.
That's good.
And we have a chart for Pixo to take a look at.
That's great. Any trouble?
None whatsoever.
No?
Well, that's good. Well, let us head out.
Okay.
She points at things and, sailors start
sailing.
Doing their
Yep.
sailor stuff.
doing their sailor stuff,
Yo ho ho and a bottle of beer.
untying things, tying other things, sailor stuff.
Squeezing cans,
Singing
and
shanties.
having the food just shoot into their mouth.
Yep. Using those like very, very small accordions.
Spinning their corncob pipe around until it turns into a propeller.
Yeah,
Just sailor stuff.
sailor stuff,
Like you do. Training
Yeah.
parrots.
Yes.
being a duck and having some nephews.
Yes. Stretching your
pants.
limbs really far.
Yeah,
Just sailor stuff,
just sailor stuff. Calling up on the moon to punish someone. All right. Yep, you guys sail out of the harbor of the Sage's Rectory.
All right.
Well, I think we will end it there. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out this week. So much fun. So much fun we are having around the table. And I hope you are, too. Questions, gotta send them. podcast@majorspoilers.com. That's the email address to send them to. And we'll be back with another adventure next week. Well, I mean, it's the same game, just the different chapter of this Void saga. But until then, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2019 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.